Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of Digital Fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today I have another standard deck tech coming straight at you from Aether Drift Early Access. In fact, this is the very last deck tech from the Aether Drift Early Access event. So after this, we're going to dig into all of my crazy ideas that I've been brewing with ever since this set actually launched to the public, and I've got some pretty crazy stuff. I learned a lot from Early Access, and I'm taking all of that knowledge to the next level with some really next level brews, I think, that are coming pretty soon. But this deck in particular is called Gods and Monsters, and I really wanted to get this one out there before we finished Early Access because we're going back to Ratadrabik. And this deck is kind of bananas. I think people have sort of forgotten about Ratadrabik and how crazy some of the legendary Ratadrabik decks can be. And we're taking it to the next level. This thing is absolutely bananas, using some of the new legendary cards and some of the new payoffs that are for zombies and for things from our graveyard, and we're gonna break it all down in just a second. Before we do, please like the video. It helps me get it out to so many more people. Subscribe if you're new so you never miss an upload, because I have tons of crazy deck techs on the way. And catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn, because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming, and usually this little god or monster is there with me, causing hell. Causing problems, being a hellion in the background, right? You're knocking over my stuff, and I love you. I love you. Let's break down the deck. We're revisiting an oldie but goodie. This is a Ratadrabik deck, and I haven't done one of these for a while, but there are some new cards in Aether Drift that really make this deck sing. So the core of the deck revolves around Ratadrabik of Urborg, a 4-mana 3/3 zombie wizard with Vigilance and Ward 2. It's important to note that it's legendary. Other zombies you control have Vigilance. All of that's just extra gravy. The real kicker here is whenever another legendary creature you control dies, you create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's not legendary, and it's a 2/2 black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. So the idea is, if you're playing an all-legendary deck, every time one of your creatures dies that isn't Ratadrabik, you'll get another version of that creature to replace it. And it's a version that's not legendary anymore, so you could play a second copy and have them both on the battlefield at the same time. But we take it one step further by finding ways to copy the Ratadrabik, such as the Jolly Balloon Man, 3 mana for a 1/4 legendary human clown with haste. You can pay 1 mana, tap it to make a token of any other creature, except it's a 1/1. And you have to sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. It also gains flying and haste. So if you use the Jolly Balloon Man to make a copy of Ratadrabik, the copy comes in as a legendary copy. The legendary rule kicks in. You have to sacrifice one of them. You sacrifice the copy, and then Ratadrabik's ability kicks in, sees the copy die as a legendary, and gives you a non-legendary version of it. So you're left with 2 Ratadrabiks on the field. And from that point on, every legendary that dies now gives you 2 non-legendary copies of it. And if you can just keep copying Ratadrabik every single turn, you exponentially increase the number of copies that you can get out of the Ratadrabik. And since the Jolly Balloon Man is legendary, you can even have the Jolly Balloon Man die to give you extra non-legendary copies of the Jolly Balloon Man so that you can get multiple activations a turn and then just really go ham, snowballing it into an insane field. Tons of Ratadrabiks, which results in tons of everything, and it gets really, really out of hand. We have some new crazy cards that help this. First of all, we have 3 copies of 𝐁𝑖𝑟 Glory's Past, a 3/2 legendary zombie cat warrior for 2 mana with Start Your Engines. So if you're not already, it'll put you at speed 1. Every one of your turns that your opponent loses life, you'll get to add 1 to that speed, and if you hit 4, you'll be at max speed. And when you're at max speed, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token. So all of the Start Your Engine stuff is really kind of just extra when it comes to 𝐁𝑖𝑟. We're not necessarily trying to get to max speed, but if we do, we can do some insane things, such as now every time one of our legendaries dies, it's not just giving us the tokens from Ratadrabik, it's also giving us other 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. And since Ratadrabik has an extra ability to give all zombies we control vigilance, All of those tokens will also have Vigilance, so we have some extra value kind of built in there. But we also have a free sacrifice outlet here. The other ability of 𝐁𝐻𝐻 is sacrifice another creature, surveil one, but you can only activate once a turn. That being said, just having a free way to sacrifice a Ratadrabik, to trigger it, to get more copies, is pretty gnarly. Being able to surveil one to put something into our graveyard is relevant for some of the other cards we'll talk about in a moment. But if you get multiple copies of 𝐁𝐻𝐻, each of the 𝐁𝐻𝐻s can use that ability to sacrifice once a turn, so you can actually start to sacrifice multiple times a turn for free for no mana. It just accumulates a ton of value. Another new card we're using is Cursecloth Wrappings, a 4-mana artifact. Zombies you control get +1/+1, so every time a legendary dies and comes back with Ratadrabik as a zombie version, it's going to get buffed up by the Cursecloth Wrappings, which is pretty cool. It's also just going to buff the Ratadrabik, it's going to buff the 𝐁𝐻𝐻, it's going to buff the zombie tokens that potentially get made by the max speed ability of the 𝐁𝐻𝐻. So there's a lot of like extra negligible value built into the Cursecloth Wrappings, even though the majority of our cards aren't zombies. But the main thing we're using this for is you can tap it and target creature card in your graveyard gains Embalm until end of turn. The Embalm cost is equal to its mana cost. So basically, after we sacrifice something with a Ratadrabik out to make a copy, we can now basically replay that thing from the graveyard. We actually exile it. The way Embalm works, we exile the thing from a graveyard and make a token copy of it in play. But we can basically get that card back after we sacrifice it, so it's another way to start exponentially increasing multiple copies of the same legendaries on the field to start getting that snowball rolling. So I think it's really, really good, especially just the extra value built in there that gives your zombies +1/+1. It all seems to synergize really nicely. Another new card we're using is Ketramose the New Dawn. Not only is this a 4/4 legendary god for 3 mana in the colors of Orzhov, so it will work with all of our legendary shenanigans with Ratadrabik, but it's a menace, lifelink, indestructible god. It can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile, which we can absolutely get to with all of the triggers. But also, whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn, you get to draw a card and lose a life. So every time you do exile something, you'll get some extra card draw out of Ketramose, and then eventually it'll turn into a big life-linking creature. And if you can get multiple copies of these because of multiple Ratadrabiks, it really starts to get out of hand. You're drawing multiple cards, you're swinging with multiple life-linking indestructible creatures to gain back all that life, and it just gets really, really insane. There are some other interesting cards in this deck as well. First of all, I want to highlight the Kenrith's Royal Funeral. This is one that came out during March of the Machine, the Aftermath, that little supplemental set. It is standard legal, and no one's really used it, but I think it works super well here. 4 mana for a legendary enchantment. When it enters, you exile up to 2 target legendary cards from your graveyard, and then draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the greatest mana value among cards exiled this way. So you do get to draw a little bit of card draw when you first use this, exiling the things from your graveyard that you have previously sacked to the Ratadrabik, especially if you don't have a way to bring them back like Cursecloth Wrappings yet. And then not only are you drawing some more gas, but for each card you exiled, you reduce the cost of your legendary spells by 1 mana. So all of your legendaries can be reduced in cost by up to 2 colorless, and you can start just vomiting them out onto the field. It gets kind of absurd. I think it's a really, really good card if it's used just right. It can be a little bit win more in some decks, but I think in this deck it's really, really good. We have a ton of other cards as well that work super well with Ratadrabik. First of all, 4 copies of Skrelv. Drop it on 1, helps keep our entire board alive. They can't target the things they want to target and kill the things they want to kill, so that we can make sure we have the stuff we want on the battlefield when we do play the Ratadrabik and get the snowball rolling. We also have 3 copies of Elis il-Kor and 3 copies of Ailey Eternal Pilgrim to go with our 3 copies of 𝐁𝐻𝐻 Glories Past as a nice package of 9 2-drop creatures. They're all legendary, they all trigger Ratadrabik, Ellis in particular is going to gain us extra life as creatures come into play, which sometimes we start to get insane amounts of tokens coming into play at the same time with Ratadrabik, so we can gain a ton of life. But also, every time we're sacking creatures or our creatures are dying to trigger the Ratadrabik, we make them lose life, so it's really nice. And in the early game, if we just need to hold off aggro, it's a nice blocker too, because it's Death Touch and can kill whatever it blocks, no matter how much they buff it up. In similar fashion, the 𝐿 also has Death Touch, so it's a nice early blocker that staves off aggro, but it also has an activated ability for 1 mana. We can sack a creature to gain life equal to its toughness. So this isn't a free sack outlet, but it is a very cheap sack outlet that lets us sack our things for very, very cheap once we finally have Ratadrabik in play and we have the ability to get value off of those sacrifices. But if we do happen to get to 30 or more life, which it's not going to happen all the time, but between the enters triggers on Ellis and some of the, auxiliary triggers off sacrificing creatures to 𝐿's first ability, and maybe even some swings with Ketramose, sometimes we can get up to 30 life, and if we can, we have another way to sacrifice our creatures, but this time exile a non-land permanent and remove key threats. And when we do exile those non-land permanents, that's another thing that's going to trigger Ketramose to draw us cards, which is awesome. Moving on to the 3-drop slot, in addition to those Jolly Balloon Men, we've got 4 𝑇obii Beastie Befriender. I think this card is nuts because once we have 4 or more creature tokens, all of them gain flying. So once we start to combo off with the Ratadrabik, and we've gotten at least 4 creatures into play that way, they're all technically zombie tokens, so that flying ability turns on, and just all of those token copies of our legendaries will now have flying for as long as 𝑇obii's out. But it's also a way to get extra value onto the field in the form of these 4/4 token creatures with the ETB ability. So every time the 𝑇obii dies, comes back, we make copies with the Ratadrabik, we're also getting extra copies of the beast tokens, which is not nothing. It's especially good in conjunction with the Jolly Balloon Man, because normally in past versions of this deck, things that make copies of the Ratadrabik aren't super useful outside of making copies of the Ratadrabik. So if you don't get your Ratadrabik yet, it can kind of be a dead card. But in this deck, we have an alternate use for the Jolly Balloon Man, because we can make copies of 𝑇obii, and then the copy comes in and makes another beast token, and those beast tokens will stay. They won't get sacrificed at end of turn, like whatever we copy with the Jolly Balloon Man will. So it's an extra way for us to get more value out of the Jolly Balloon Man while we're waiting to draw into our Ratadrabik, which I think can be really important. We're also running 2 copies of Zorline Cosmos Collar. Not only is it a nice way to get a little bit of supplemental life, but we can get a trigger every single turn to bring something that costs 3 or less back from the graveyard. And because the majority of the legends that we're playing with do cost 3 or less, this can pretty much bring back whatever we need to in a similar way that the Cursecloth Wrappings can. So that's pretty much the deck. We do have 1 copy of Relic of Legends. It gets a little redundant if we ever draw into a second copy, so I'm only running 1. But if you do happen to get it out, all of your legends can now tap for mana, and the Relic of Legends itself can tap for mana, so it's a nice way of just like vomiting out your hand and getting even more value quicker, which is really nice. But personally, I don't like running more than 1 because sometimes they're just dead cards. And that's the deck. We have 4 Plaza of Heroes in the mana base, and they're awesome. Sometimes they protect key legends that we need to protect for an extra turn until we can get things to start snowballing, and they also just make whatever color mana we need. So really cool deck. We're using new Verges, we're using the Surveil lands, and the games were just nuts. If I sound a little scatterbrained, I apologize. I've been streaming for like 24 hours, but I am excited about this deck. I'm excited to show it to you. Let's check out the games. Alright. We're going to try and keep this. It's a little weird. It's a little slow. We've got a lot of our late game plays early, which isn't really what we want. But we should be able to at least 𝐿 into 𝑇obii. Jelly, as in short for jealous. The jealousy taking over. DFT Pro Tour 332 understands. Maybe not 331 or 333, but definitely 332. It's hip to be square. Remember that. So if we draw a 2-drop, we're going to play the theater and the 2-drop. If we don't, we're going to play the Verge and the Toby. But a 2-drop would be better because then we can play the Verge on 4 and play one of these. My kitten is whining. Well, now we can do 3 and 4, I guess. And we want things to die. So go ahead, kill my 𝐿. No? Alright, tick up to speed 2 then. Speed 2 it is, and the turn. Probably end up Cursecloth Wrappings unless he kills some of our stuff. Because we don't want to play Kenriths with nothing to exile. We literally get nothing. Sometimes we have to only exile one thing, but at least we still get to draw cards and get 1 cost reduction on everything. And that's okay. Rubble Belt. I think we're gonna find a plains. What you got for me? What you got for me? Meet the young lady who fell from a star. 𝐿 Squirming Emergence. Interesting. Interesting. Surveil. Well, now we need to get out the Drabic, right? Now we got to get out the Drabic. We can double block the Overlord. He'll kill the 𝐿. We'll get a copy of it. It'll go to the yard. We can do some exile shenanigans. Meet the young lady who fell from a star. Big cash IPs. Eventually. Good morning, Foozy. I've got ideas for the Lotus. We're gonna get to it before the end of the stream. We've seen bits and pieces of some things other people have done. And it got my juices flowing.
This will make a thrilling tale.
That's a cool idea, Foozy. I'm digging it. I am dead. I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? Ketramose is awesome.
I won't let you fall.
And the Ox, man. The Ox is so good. That stupid Ox is so good. We're gonna build another Ox deck before this is done, too. Do you think he's gonna be wise to our plans? And, kill the Ox instead of the 𝐿 𝐿𝐿. Oh, what are you doing? You put it on that guy. Okay. Okay. You have 𝐿𝐿 out, so you can go off if you want. What do you got in there? An Overlord. That's really it. See, this is what I was afraid of. He went too deep into non-creatures. He doesn't have enough creatures to exile now. You gotta resist the urge. You gotta mostly stick to creatures. Alright. If he's smart, he'll kill the token. There we go. Misdirected hostility. That's what you got. Dun, dun, dun. Hello. Bruise Taro S tier. Oh, we should use Bruise with it. I didn't even think of that. Didn't even think of that. Done yet? You ran out of creatures, didn't you? You got one Overlord in there now. Poor sap. You poor sap. And his Soul Cauldron's tapped. So that's a problem. Zombies have vigilance now. Dun, 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 dun. Kansas, he said, is the name of the star. Do it. Do it, old maid. Do it, old maid. Theater is raucous. 𝐂𝐭𝐚𝐳𝐿 Theater. End the turn. I'm losing my mind. I'm so tired. Fucking, what am I saying over here? I don't even know. I don't even know what life is anymore, okay? No, Jeskai artifacts. Zorius wishes they were as cool as Jeskai. K. 𝐁𝐄𝐞. Get it? Because it's classic with a K. Everything seems more funny when you're overtired. Attack! I want to block with my 𝐿 and get 2 𝐿s. Come on, man.
Show them what you're made of.
Come on, man. You don't got any creatures in that damn deck. It's all cash grabs and fucking Treasure's Insights and Insidious Roots and Agatha's Soul Callers and Squirming Emergences. You forgot your creatures, you dummy. You don't have any creatures in the deck. You have Rubble Belt Mavericks and Molt Tenders, and that's it. That's it. Bro. That's it. This looks okay. We got Parlor on 1, Ailey on 2. I'd really like to get the Skrelv down, but don't think we're quite going to be able to do it. 2 Kenriths is a little crazy, but we'll figure it out. Another courtyard. Maybe we just play out the Skrelv anyway. Inty. Courtyard. Ailey. Pass a turn. So we can trade with Inty because of Death Touch. Alright, we go Plaza. We go exile Ailey. Draw some cards. Reduce the cost of some stuff. Seems pretty alright. Pass turn. So what we're gonna do is block with 𝐿. Could make a copy of it. I don't know if we want to do anything, to be honest. I think we just take the damage. There we go. Oh god. There's a Ratadrabik. We'll keep that on top. That, get 2 of them. Still keep the Ratadrabik on top. Make another. Get some more triggers. The reach is a pain, so we're not gonna bother. No attacks. Well, we did the thing. We went off the way we're supposed to. Now let's see if we can go even deeper. Depends on Rona. Swing with Inti. Pass 2 blockers. Right here. Thank you. Give me 3 more Ratadrabiks and 4 more 𝐿. You've got a Soul Cauldron. Can you do enough with it? I don't think so. Let's make a whole lot of Skrelvs. Just protect our board like crazy. Yeah, we will absolutely have a deck tech for this one. Absolutely. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play that for 3. That leaves us with 1. We'll go Kenrith's Royal Funeral. We will exile Skrelv and 𝐿. Draw some cards. We'll play a land. We'll play Ratadrabik. Then we'll go copy Ratadrabik. It dies. We get 1,000,000 triggers for Ratadrabik. Copy Ratadrabik. It dies. We get 1,000,000 triggers for Ratadrabik. Hi. Too many? Uh-oh. It's 14. It's not that bad. I just need 14 more. Wait, they all have haste? How the heck do they all have haste? Oh, literally because Jolly Balloon Man... That's crazy, man. They all have haste. I had no idea. Haste and flying from the Jolly Balloon Man. I think. Crazy. Traffic gonna get you. Traffic gonna get you. This is good. We get turn 2 Ellis, and then if we get a land, turn 3 Relic into Ailey. Keep it. Hello, Hamhawks. I am a big fan. Love your face. We're keeping the land. It's happening. That's happening. So happening, man. Ellis is down. Down with the clown. Are you down with the clown? Are you rocks with the hawks? You had nothing to play? Oh god. That's no good. It's time, baby. It's time, baby. Are you ready? Steam Core Scholar. Sneaky doppelgang? No, we're trying to build decks that can win. I only have 24 hours, Foozy. That is not enough time to get one win with a sneaky doppelgang. It's just not. It's just not. Okay? Raucous Theater. Go away. Make you, make you, make you, make you, make you, make you, give me all of the triggers. Here I come. Here I come, Hawks. Hawks up. It's coming. You wish you were the best in the world. You wish you were half as good as me with your kickoff celebrations and your Steam Core Scholars. Look at this guy. Charlie Chaplin ass looking motherfucker. Nobody needs that. Nobody wants that. Nobody cares. Get out of here. Nobody wants you. You're done. You're done. Okay? You're done. Here we go. What are you gonna do? That's right. That is what you're gonna do. Nothing. You're gonna die. End the turn. I could kill you at any moment. I could kill you with this right here. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kill you with my pinky. You ready? You ready, chat? You ready? Hold on, I gotta move this. Ooh, Charlie, not Charlie. I'm so scared of Charlie. Come on over to Candy Mountain, Charlie. The water's fine. Come on in. Show me. Show me what you've got. Okay? I want it. I want it all. Do you understand? I want it all. I want it all. Give it to me. Box up. This house is clear. This one looks good. We're gonna keep it. We'll start with, we need white. So we'll go Plaza of Heroes. I guess we just go Plaza again. Ellis. Just completely curve out, protect our board with Skrelv. Perilous Snare is gonna have to hit the Skrelv. It's fine. Her. Swing, we'll get to speed 2. No Ketramose yet, but we are about to drop Ratadrabik, and we can protect it with the Skrelv again. Sacrifice another creature. Well, that's not going to do it. That is not gonna do it. Swing 2. We'll tick up to speed 3. End the turn. We need stuff in the graveyard to bring back with the Cursecloth Wrappings. So things are a little bit awkward right now. Do we want 𝐁𝐵𝐻𝐻? I guess we probably just want the Cursecloth Wrappings. With the greatest mana value. Ugh, and it's exile. That's kind of disgusting. We're just gonna swing. Ouch. What is this deck, man? Just removal dot deck? He's got Leyline in the Void, so now we're gonna play out a Ketramose. Every time something goes to the graveyard, it'll get exiled and we will draw a card. Oh, it has to be during our turn. Uh-oh. That doesn't count from the graveyard? Shit. That's not good. That's really bad. guess we'll just do that so that we can swing. Oh, we do get to draw cards. Okay, it works that way. When it's from the battlefield to the graveyard, it works. Oh, come on, man. So lame. So lame. That was dumb. That was really dumb. Pass the turn. We want to hold up protection with the Plaza of Heroes. If we can. Costs 3 to activate. Really? Oh my god, dude. This game is ridiculous. This dude's just got every piece of removal ever. What do you do if your opponent's not playing creatures? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Does not make any sense to me. Every single card is removal. It does not make sense. Because you're rocking Ketramose, I guess? This is gonna be tricky. This whole deck is just, we're gonna exile everything. I don't know what it does against decks that don't have creatures, though. We don't have anything to exile. That is so ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. We don't want him to draw cards. Dude, this sucks. This sucks so bad. It's just weird because, like, his deck just straight up dies to control. Like, if he doesn't have creatures to kill, his entire deck is just stuff to kill creatures. So the deck is just completely useless. So So stupid. It won't. Well, we're keeping 7. See if we can actually, like, do anything this time. Kill the Skrelv. Soul Partition. That's fine. Das ist fine. We got a Verge. We'll go Toby. Sure. Ley line. Get out of here. Smack for 5. We're trying, man. We're trying to hold on with these Skrelvs. Good Anakin. So good, Anakin. Although I don't have the red mana, do I? Maybe I do. Tapping on tap legendary. Yeah. You and your fucking soul partitions. Get out of here with that crap. Nobody wants it. Decline. Smash for 6. Where's your sunfall? Where's your sunfall? Legion to ashes. Decline. Swing for 3. Actually do a thing. End the turn. Come on, baby. What are you gonna do now? Your little exile spells don't work anymore. Go ahead, exile something. Do it. Do it, old maid. That's right, you make a bunch of rabbits. I'll make a Ratadrabix. Oi. Showing, 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 showing. Do it. Draw cards. And now my Ketramose is online. Good game. You play that Leyline of the Void. Get out of here. Get out of here. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck text, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.